sneaking up on Bob Dylan's boyhood house.
You just feel the vibe.
Bob used to play on his trike on this sidewalk.
Of course.
Well, there it is. See, there's a plaque there. Put another one down here. When you first come or drive into Duluth, so you got this fantastic view, and it's quite impressive. And then later, a few weeks later, I was there and all alone, no friends. I was kind of having doubts to do a stupid thing coming here. I was feeling really lonely and walking on Superior Street, and this thing came to me, is Duluth is like a $20 whore, all pretty and inviting from a distance, but when you get down close on Superior Street, you feel cheated and want your money back. So I wrote this thing, and this was February 22nd, so after the Skinner presentation, so I had just read his utopian community thing, so I'm kind of blending that utopia with this dystopian view of being down out in the streets. So I titled this thing "The Books of Shangriluth." And here, asterisk: Shangriluth is a hybrid of utopian vision and dystopian reality. And here I'm referring to the books. I'd go to this Carlson bookstore on Superior Street and buy used paperbacks. I loved the warm feeling. So I got the books of Shangriluth, paperbacks with that soft glove-formed fit, scored and dog-eared, broken spines with text running into the gutter margin, like lost souls after 2-week drinking missions. Remember I talked about this place, the McKeaton boarding house, and I was attracted to it because it kind of fueled my Dostoevskian writing. Well, for like a decade, I was into Crime and Punishment. I read it once a year for 10 years. My most important novel, and back in February of '97, when I was out there in Duluth, I kind of had some insight in why I was so attracted to it. And this is what I wrote down. I have finally figured out why Crime and Punishment is the most powerful novel in my life. I first discovered it in the summer of '84 while browsing through one of the base libraries on Okinawa. I picked it out just knowing it was a great work of literature without ever having read anything about it. The previous year, 1983, I had made the bold move to leave town and shatter a lot of the hopes and plans of my dad, which he had formulated for me, wanting to take over working on the farm and stuff, by joining the Marines. That was my crime. Living the life of Raskolnikov was to be my self-imposed punishment. And so to give you the flavor of what this is like, I'll read the first page here. It always fascinated me. Crime and Punishment, Chapter 1. On an exceptionally hot evening early in July, a young man out of the garret in which he lodged in S Place and walked slowly as though in hesitation towards K Bridge. But for some time past, he'd been in an overstrained, irritable condition, verging on hypochondria. He had become so completely absorbed in himself and isolated from his fellows that he dreaded meeting not only his landlady, but anyone at all. He was crushed by poverty, but the anxieties of his position had of late ceased to weigh upon him. He had given up attending to matters of practical importance. He had lost all desire to do so. Nothing that any landlady could do had a real terror for him. But to be stopped on the stairs, to be forced to listen to her trivial, irrelevant gossip, to pestering demands for payment, threats and complaints, and to rack his brains for excuses, to prevaricate, to lie. No, rather than that, he would creep down the stairs like a cat and slip out unseen. He goes on, he has this idea that he needs to get out of the situation by some bold move, and he comes across this old lady who's a pawnbroker who he sells stuff to just to get a little money to eat with. And he comes with this idea that she's no good to society, and by killing her, he would be doing people a favor, and also he'd kill her and rob her, and then that would propel him out of his current situation. That's his delusional plan, and that kind of sets. He goes through with that, and that sets the plot of the book in motion. So that's a crime, and the punishment is the guilt he deals with afterwards. Now, later on, he meets this virtuous young girl who he falls in love with. She's in poverty too, and she's a prostitute just to survive, but she's a virtuous, and she leads him to convert to Christianity at the end of the story. And one of the things that drew me to the book is Dostoevsky's realist style of writing. He describes things with such detail and precision that you read it, you feel like you're actually there. Put on your gloves and have a reading bout. Thus comes knowledge to the man from Shangriluth.